Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so we've heard the left's reaction, right? All the Democrats and leftists all over social media have given the verdict. Basically, before Trump's speech was even done, they all walked out to record their takes. That was the worst speech that I've ever heard. It was the worst presidential address ever.
This was probably the worst delivered speech I've heard Donald Trump give.
The verdict is in, right, according to Democrats, except, well, not so much, because less so the Democrat verdict is in and more the numbers are in. And guess what? Trump's speech to Congress was an absolute grand slam, and even CNN can't deny that. You know, this whole notion of voter regret that Democrats have been trying to summon up, or conjure up is probably a better term, I think it just got absolutely torched. They've been calling him unpopular, claiming independents were abandoning him. CNN just released a push poll showing Donald Trump underwater with independents by 18 points. First of all, there's no frickin' way. I don't know where they're finding these independents. It's probably in San Francisco. But clearly there's been this repeated effort to cast Donald Trump as deeply unpopular. Everything's falling apart. Nobody likes him or his ideas, but it's all a desperate attempt to manufacture reality. Because in actual reality, Trump's support is rock solid. And it's the same thing with this speech. They tried manufacturing outrage and discontent. Everybody hated that speech, but clearly the exact opposite is happening. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's first start off with this clip right over here, which probably caused CNN viewers to soil themselves.
To the results, what was your reaction to Trump's speech? 44% of speech watchers in our instant poll tonight say they had a very positive reaction to Trump's speech. 25% somewhat positive, 31% negative.
A whopping 69% of speech watchers had a positive impression, with 44% saying very positive. And of course, immediately Democrats are trying to spin this. Actually, that means Donald Trump had a very unpopular speech, because that's the lowest rating ever. In the very positive category, Fake News Mediaite wrote this: Trump joint speech hits bottom of the barrel in CNN flash poll, even compared to Trump's other speeches.
How does that stack up against Donald Trump's previous addresses to joint sessions of Congress or State of the Union addresses? Look here, for all the years we have data for, 44% very positive reaction is actually his low water mark in all our instant polls after his previous addresses. You see in 2019, 18, and 17, he was higher in terms of very positive speech reaction. And what about to his modern day predecessors? How does this 44% very positive stack up? Again, it's the bottom of the barrel here. 51% in 2021 when Joe Biden gave his first joint address were very positive. Donald Trump himself was at 57% in 2017, and you see that Bush and Obama even higher than that. So this was not Donald Trump's best speech.
But they're only looking at the very positive category. The total positive was at 69%. So what if slightly less people had a very positive impression? That's not the story, especially coming from a CNN push poll. The story is obviously that 69% had a positive impression. That's a supermajority. And actually, speaking of supermajorities, even beyond supermajority, near unanimously, on the flip side, here was the impression of Democrats, or more specifically, Al Green.
During the course of the event, which is wanting to get reaction on Congressman Al Green's antics and being ejected, 80% of speech watchers said that the Democratic congressman's interrupting of Trump's speech was inappropriate. Only 20% of speech watchers thought what Green did was appropriate, Aaron.
80%. You love to see it. Dems are trying so hard to spin this, but the reality is, Trump did great and the numbers are astounding. And in fact, the numbers are even better if we look at other polls. And keep in mind, again, these are left-wing push polls, all of them. We've got CBS YouGov, who did a full-on analysis here. And look at this. 76% approved of the speech. Then when asked about Trump spending time on issues that they care about, 63% said a lot. When asked how the speech made people feel, 68% were hopeful, 54% were proud, and only 27% were worried, with 16% angry. Then when asking for people to describe Trump's speech, 74% found it presidential, entertaining, 71% found it inspiring, 62% found it unifying. So despite the Democrats' actions, Trump still managed to unify the country, then this question is really bad for the Democrat narrative because they've been going on and on about how inflation's coming back. The price of eggs, eggs. They keep claiming that Trump has no plan to tackle inflation, but among speech watchers, 68% believed that Donald Trump has a clear plan for inflation. Then we've got support for his various different stances. 77% like ending waste in government spending. 77% agree with Donald Trump on immigration and the border. 73% agree with Donald Trump on Ukraine-Russia. That is like mind-blowing, considering all the fake outrage coming from the left. And then 65% support him on tariffs. Then we've got 76% approving the removal of Al Green, and 68% who agree with Donald Trump's description of the crime problem. I mean, the numbers are just incredible. And somehow Democrats are trying to describe this as rock bottom. You people are insane. I mean, completely insane. But thankfully, at least some people in the mainstream media, probably not out of good faith honesty, but just out of desperation as they realize what's really going on, realized it was probably time to start calling this crap out from the left.
Thank you, Simone.
Can we talk about it?
The bingo signs were killing me. I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership. There is a palpable disgust, as Claire said, from not just the members, but their constituents. And it's like a pot, as someone described it to me, that's boiling, and it's about to bubble over. If you do not allow the members a space to release valve, it's going to bubble over. And this was the visuals are not taking back the House in 2026. Not these visuals.
I mean, you know it's bad for the Democrats when Simone Sanders couldn't bring herself to defend this embarrassing display. We're talking top lifelong Democrats here. Simone Sanders, Michael Steele, David Axelrod, all of them calling it like it is. Others in the media struggling to take it that far. Like this moment with CNN's Cassie Hunt, who tried the typical both sides approach.
Since I started doing it when George W. Bush was president of the United States, I don't think I've ever seen something that was so pointed, so partisan, not just in what the president was saying, but in the mood in the room, the sort of aggression, the occasional cruelty, the mocking, the laughter. It had a tone. I mean, these are usually moments for at least all of us to say, okay, I may not agree with you, Mr. President. I may have differences on that policy, but we're going to stand here at the top and we're going to say this is about our union, right? The things that we all can get together on it. There was none of that.
We should write down, do not speak the sentence, polarization can't get worse, because it keeps getting worse.
Both sides were so divisive. I've never seen anything like it. No, it's not both sides. Can we stop with this both sides nonsense? And to be honest, it's never been both sides. Donald Trump launched his presidency in 2016 on a clear platform, and he was attacked, lambasted, ridiculed since day one. No wonder he reacted in the way that he did. The reality is, he has been under attack since day one, and that was on full display yesterday. And now somehow he's the bad guy, he's feeding into it because he hit them with a couple zingers. Give me a break. They frickin' deserve it. Frankly, I think he's a little bit too nice to them. But that's a good thing, and that's strategic. That's the new Trump. He's not going full mega mode on them anymore because he's playing the angle. And just going back to that CBS poll, despite all of their antics, and despite him hitting them real good, like this moment.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Despite Donald Trump, really hammering them, he still managed to bring the country together. He still, once again, extended an olive branch to the Democrats, asking them to work with him and honestly questioning them. Why is it that no matter what he does, he just can't get them to smile? He can't make them happy no matter what. And I think it really opened people's eyes to who the problem is. Trump is trying. He wants to unify the country. He wants to do a great job as president. And he's constantly attacked for that. And they're always just standing in his way, protesting, sabotaging, attempting to obstruct him. Again, everybody saw where the problem lies. It lies on the Democrat side, and even Democrats were disgusted by the behavior that was on display just the other night. So anyways, that's it. The narrative's over. Total narrative implosion. This Trump joint address was no disaster. No, quite the contrary. It was a smashing success and an eye-opening moment, I think, for millions of Americans. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one.